Good morning, my dear children. I hope you all fine. So today we are going to see chapter 7 from civics. Okay. So it's about understanding marginalization. Okay. So repeat along with me, children. What is the chapter name? Understanding marginalization. Understanding marginalization. Okay. So we are going to see about this topic in this lesson. We'll continue with the next lesson. So both are in the same topic. Okay. So first we will see about what is marginalization and what are the problems under this marginalization and what are the ways government took to come out of this problem. We are going to see everything in this lesson. Okay. So we are going to see about who are Adivasis. Who are Adivasis? So already you might have heard this term Adivasi. So you might have know who is Adivasi. Like you might have some stereotype about Adivasi. They will be like this, right? So who are Adivasis? Tribals are also referred to as Adivasis. So who are referred as Adivasis? Tribals. Okay. So Adivasis literally means original inhabitants. Communities who lived and continue to live in close association with forest. So who are Adivasis? Who lived and continue to live in close contact, close association with forest. Okay, they are called as Adivasis. Okay, tribals. About 8% of India's population is Adivasi. So, from India's population, 8% is Adivasis. Understood, children? And most of the country's mining and industrial centers are located in Adivasi areas. So, mining area, getting minerals, and industrial centers are located in Adivasi areas like Jamshedpur, Rourkela, Bokaro, and Bhilai, and among others, some other places. Not a homogeneous population. There are over 500 various Adivasi groups in India. Not like one group. There are more than 500 various different Adivasi groups in India. Understood, children? First, what is Adivasi? So, Adivasi means they are also called as tribals. They are living, continue to live in the close association with forest. Then second point, 8% of India's population is Adivasi. Next, India's country mining and industrial centers are located in Adivasi areas. Then not one group, there are over 500 various Adivasi groups in India. Understood, children? So next, they are numerous, they are more in number in states like Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, and in the northeastern states of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, and Tripura. So in this place we can find more tribals, Adivasis. Okay. 60 different tribal groups are in Odisha. In Odisha only we can find 60 different tribal groups. Okay. They are distinctive because there are often very little hierarchy among them, and this makes them radically different from other communities organized around principles of caste. Jati Varna means caste, or those who were ruled by kings. That means they are like different from all other castes. Okay, they are all follow their ancestors' rule. They are like following their ancestor rule, and they are like continue that what their ancestor told, and like they were close associated with forest. Okay, then Adivasi practice a range of tribal religions. Unlike like Islam, Hinduism, Christianity, unlike us, they follow different religion belief. Like they will worship their ancestor, their village, natural spirits like mountain spirits, river, animal, like that they will worship differently. Okay, and after that, with the boundary how they, like, in the home they will worship their ancestors, then they will worship the mountain, river, like they worship differently. Okay, their worship was like different from other religions. Then after that they get influenced by other religions like Sakta, Buddhist, Vaishnav, Bhakti and Christianity. Then they started converting to these religions. But actually they followed some range of tribal religions, and after that getting influenced by our religions like Islam, Hinduism, Christianity, they started changing to that religion. Then Adivasi religions influenced dominant religions of empires around them. Like they get influenced by the nearby religions, like some may convert to Christianity, some may convert to Buddhist, like they get influenced by that religion and they are getting converted to that religion. Okay. For example, the Jagannath cult of Odisha and Sakti and Tantric tradition in Bengal, Assam. During 19th century, substantial numbers of Adivasis convert to Christianity. Okay. So, which has emerged as a very important religion in modern Adivasi history. So, in modern Adivasi history, we can see Christianity is the important religion. Okay. Then they have their own languages, like Sanskrit, different language. Then they have followed like some Bengali, different language. So they had their own language. Santali has a large number of speakers. So Santali, this is the most number of speakers they have in Adivasi. So Santali is the we can find more Santali speaking people in Adivasi group, and that have body of publication including magazine and internet. So using Santali they have written magazine, and in internet also we can see language. Adivasis and stereotyping. So we will think like Adivasis, they will be like this, they will wear this kind of dress, they will wear this kind of costumes, they will dance like this, like that. We will be like keeping some stereotypes, some ideas about them. Okay, and we'll think like they are backward, they are uneducated, they will be like different. We used to think like we have that stereotype about Adivasis. Then Adivasis and their development. In 19th century, until 19th century, forest covered a major part, big part of our country. What covered big part of our country? Forest. Forest covered big part of our country. Then Adivasi had a deep knowledge, like how to control over vast tracts. Like they have deep knowledge. Okay, comparing to us, they have deep knowledge. They were not ruled by large state empires. They were like accessing forest resources. From forest they will get enough food, money from getting the yield and selling. So from forest they get the resource, income. Okay. Next, the pre-colonial world, they were traditionally ranged hunter-gatherers and nomads. Like hunter-gatherers means they will hunt the animals, gather fruits, vegetables. They were nomads, like moving from one place to another and doing agriculture, shifting agriculture, you know, right? They will do agriculture in a particular place, and then after that they will move to next place for doing agriculture. Okay, and sometimes they will do cultivate in the one place only. Okay, and after that they started then for the past 200 years, Adivasis have been increasingly forced through economic changes, forest policies, political force applied by the state and private industry to migrate to live as workers in plantation, construction site, in industries as domestic workers. And after that, what happened? They started move to work in the plantation field or construction site or industry as domestic workers. Okay. Then from the 1830 onwards, Adivasi from Jharkhand and adjoining areas, they moved, large number of people, they moved towards various plantation in India and world like Mauritius, Caribbean and even Australia. So India tea industry became possible with their labor in Assam. So in India tea industry possible only with the Adivasis labor in Assam. Today there are 70 lakh Adivasis in Assam alone. So in Assam only we can find 70 lakh Adivasis. For example, in the 9th century, 5 lakh Adivasis have perished in these migrations. So they will move from place to place. Okay. Then forest land, cleared for timber to get land for agriculture and industry. So Adivasis lived in the areas they are rich in minerals and other natural resources. So those places were taken for mining and industrial project. So these Adivasis have to be moved from that place to another place. Okay. So like this, many Adivasis, they moved from the forest area and they reached the cities and villages. According to official figures, over 50% of persons displaced due to mines and mining project are tribals. And another survey report that organization working among Adivasis show that 79% of the person displaced from the states of Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Jharkhand are tribals. So what happening? 50% of the person who were moved from the place for making mining project, okay, industries project. So 50% are tribals. And another one report shows that 79% displaced from the states like Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Jharkhand, they are tribals. Okay. So then after some lands were given to constructing dam, so they left that place. So by many problems they started moving from forest to the land. Okay. In the northeast, their lands remain highly militarized. India has 104 national parks covering 40,501 square meter and 543 wildlife sanctuaries. So in northeast, their land is like highly militarized. Okay, and in 104 national parks we have and 543 wild sanctuaries we have in the forest areas. These are areas where tribally originally lived but evicted from there. So those areas are the areas where tribals lived there, and because of making national parks and wildlife sanctuary, they were evicted. They would get moved out of that place. Okay. So when they continue to stay in this forest, they were termed as encroachers. If they stay in the forest, they were called as encroachers. So they lost their land and access to the forest. So what is the main source of food for tribals? Forest. So they lose the access to the forest. Okay. So because of what problems they have lose the access to the forest? What are the main problems? For making mining industry, then making dam, then like national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, like this. For many reasons, forest land is taken from them and they are moved out of that place. Okay. Then because of this, they faced poverty, deprivation and situations Adivasis caught in. So because of this, they fall in poverty. Okay. And 45% of tribal groups are in rural areas, village areas, and 35% in urban areas. They live below the poverty line. Okay. And many children are like malnourished, that means not properly nourished. They don't have proper food to eat, and low literacy rate. Okay. So 45% of tribal group, they live in rural area, village area, and 35% they live in urban area, city areas. They live below the poverty line. Okay. And low literacy rate, only few people they will be studying, and that means no proper food, low nutrition. Okay. Then when Adivasis are displaced from their land, when they are told to move out from their land, they lost their source of income, their tradition, their customs, their way of living, everything is spoiled. Okay. So because of this, they faced many problems. Okay. Next, minorities and marginalization. Now we will see about minorities. Minority means small group. Okay. So how they faced problems. Okay. So to safeguard our fundamental right, to safeguard the fundamental rights of minorities, what the constitution did. Constitution, or this constitution written set of rules for safeguarding our fundamental rights, right? So what it is giving safeguard to our religious and linguistic minorities. What safeguards is giving? Okay. So why have these minority groups be provided with the safeguard? Why they are giving the safeguard? Because they are small in number, so they should not have attacked by majority people. So there are some laws to safeguard their religious and linguistic. Okay. Then next we are going to see about Muslims and marginalization. Muslims and marginalization. What are the problems they are facing? So 14.2% of Indian population, according to 2011 census, Muslims are considered as marginalized community. Okay, so they also faced many problems like communities like scheduled caste and scheduled castes. Okay, like economic and social marginalism also experienced by Muslims. So some used to think like some may wear burqa, then sport a long beard, then they need to identify all Muslims like that. So Muslims means we will have a stereotype, they will wear burqa and some will have long beard. So we have some stereotypes about Muslim. So sometimes they will be treated unfairly and discriminated against. So this lead to violence sometime. Okay. So from that we have to believe and we have to think all the citizens equally. Okay, that is the main concept. No one should be treated unequally. All people, all citizens in India are equal before the law. Okay. Next, confronting marginalization. Now we are going to see about confronting marginalization. So first, confronting marginalization. So first, marginalization is there. Okay, people are like, because of this they are thinking like this and they have very poor background. So to make it equal, what are the policies government made? What are the struggle are there and what are the policies government made? That we are going to see in this chapter. First, invoking fundamental rights. So fundamental rights, to safeguard everyone's fundamental rights, there are like marginalized have drawn on these rights in two ways. First, to recognize the injustice done to them. First, their fundamental right, they force the government to recognize the injustice or recognize the problem done to them. Okay. Next, accordingly, government will frame new laws to keep the spirit of fundamental right. Okay. Next, then Article 17 of the Constitution says, Article 17 of the Constitution, keep this in your mind, Article 17 of the Constitution that says, untouchability is a crime. Okay. So, untouchability is abolished. That means, if anyone is tortured by untouchability, that means everyone can enter temple, public facility, so on. So, if anyone is saying like you cannot go to this place, public facilities is accessible to everyone. Okay. So untouchability is a crime. Okay. So everyone has access to reach the public places. No one should not be say like you should not enter. Okay. No one has the right to say like that. So untouchability is a punishable crime now. Then there are some other sections also like Article 15. So no citizen, Article 15. So first we have seen Article 17, now we are going to see about Article 15. So according to Article 15, no citizen can be discriminated or differentiated or shown partiality against on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. Whether they are following any religion, any caste or any race, white or black, female or male, place of birth, with anything there is no difference. Everyone is equal before the law. Okay. So Dalits also low caste people, they can invoke and draw fundamental right if they face any problem. Okay. They can also demand the government and justice, get the justice for them. Okay, they also have the freedom of religion, cultural and educational right. They have right to freedom of follow any religion, follow any cultural and study any education. And next, they are the guardian of the content of their culture. Okay, some religious groups like Muslims, Parsis have the right to guardian of the content of their culture. They can follow the culture they keep following. Okay, then next, the government will be ensuring whether this minority group is not dominated by other group. Okay, so government will be watching all this. Okay, there are some laws and policies for the marginalized in our country. Then promoting of social justice. Social justice, that means for like they will be giving some offers, scholarships for this poor people, like for free or subsidized hostels for students of Dalit and Adivasi communities, and free education, some scholarship in education. Like they want everyone to be equal, inequity in the system. Okay, they have made many steps. And like reserve seats in education, like Adivasis, SC, ST, they have reserve seats in education, in employment, job opportunities. Then they have the platform to learn more new skills and occasions. Okay, so these are the offerings given by the government. Okay, then how does the reservation policy work? How this reservation policy? That means government, first point is like government has its own list of scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, backward class, most backward class. They have the list who are under this, how many people are there. So accordingly, they will give like reservation seat. For ST, this much reservation seat. For backward class, this much reservation seat. For most backward class, this much reservation seat. Like that, they will give the seat. Okay, like applying for post in government, then for getting the seats in government colleges, like cut-off marks. So for these and all, they will give some facility, some like for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, backward class, they will give some more opportunities. So they can get special scholarships also from the government. Understood, children? So government is also helping them a lot. Okay, protecting the rights of Dalits and Adivasis. To protect the rights of Dalits and Adivasis, some special laws are there. Okay, first, Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. So according to that, so government will see if anyone is treated badly or any humiliation or any, so all that government will note and punishment will be there. And so it will see any powerful caste is doing badly upon them or violence upon them or treating them badly, punishment will be there. And meanwhile, the ACT distinguished several levels of crimes. Like if anyone is forcing them, scheduled caste or tribe, to drink or eat any inedible or some substance, they will be punished. If they force them to remove clothes or with paint their face or make them naked, or if they do anything to the Adivasis, that person will be punished. Then next, if anyone is taking the place belong to Adivasis or that scheduled caste people place, if anyone is wrongly occupies, that is a punishable crime. Then if anyone is ill-treating or badly treating Dalit or tribal women, that is a crime. Okay, and so these are the crime, and if any crime is did and if anyone did this, then they will be punished. Okay. Adivasi demands and the 1989 Act. Now we are going to see about Adivasi's demands and 1989 Act. So according 1989 Act, it is important for another reason. This means this is for right to occupy the land. So if they have the right to occupy their land. So if anyone is saying them to move from this land, it's not possible. They have the right to stay in their land. And after that, anyone other than tribal people cannot sell the land of their tribal people. That means non-tribal people cannot sell the land of tribal people. Okay. The policy is made by the government to safeguard their culture and safeguard them. Okay. So we have seen two topics. First one is understanding marginalization and confronting marginalization. So we have understood marginalization. What are the problems their Adivasis faced, where they are living, how they moved from forest to the land, what are the problems after that they faced, poverty, everything we have seen in the first part, and in the second part we have seen what government took measures to protect their rights, to safeguard them. Okay. So that's all for today's class. Thank you children. Have a nice day. So watch this video once again and note down all the important points, and thank you children. Have a nice day.